You ever wonder why, no matter how many words you learn, your English just doesn't sound, well, natural? It's a super common feeling. But today, we're going to crack that code. We're going to pull back the curtain on the hidden rules that native speakers use without even thinking about it, so you can start using them too. All right, let's dive in.
So why is English pronunciation so confusing? It all starts with this question, right? And it's a frustration I think every single learner feels. You know that moment, you see a word, you think, okay, I got this, and then you hear a native speaker say it, and you're like, wait, what? So what is actually going on here?
Okay, so here's the heart of the problem, right here on the screen. The tools we're given are just 26 letters, but the result we're supposed to create, it's made up of more than 44 different sounds. Just think about that. It's like someone giving you a box of 26 crayons and then asking you to perfectly recreate a photograph that has over 44 unique colors. No wonder things get a little messy.
But here's the good news. It's not just random chaos. There's actually a system behind it all, like a hidden code. And the answer to cracking that code really just lies in understanding two key concepts. Once you get these two things, I promise the whole puzzle of English pronunciation is going to start to click into place.
All right, so the first key to cracking this code is something called a phoneme. You can think of phonemes as the absolute smallest, most basic building blocks of a word. They're the little Lego bricks of sound that actually create meaning. That's why we're calling them the meaning makers.
So what is a phoneme? It's the smallest little piece of sound that can totally change what a word means. That's its entire job. And you'll notice these slashes around the P here. That's just a little bit of nerdy linguistics notation. It's a signal that we're talking about the abstract idea of the sound, not just the letter P that you write down.
So you want to see just how powerful these little phonemes are? It's actually kind of amazing when you see it in action. Just watch. Okay, let's take a super simple word, cat. If we write it using phonemes, it looks like this. K-a-t. We all know what that is, right? A little furry pet?
But now, watch what happens if we change just one thing, that first phoneme. We swap out the k sound for a b sound. And now, the word is bat. Bat! Just like that, with one tiny change, we've gone from a house pet to a flying creature of the night, or a piece of baseball equipment. One tiny sound, a completely different meaning. That is the power of a phoneme.
Okay, you with me? Let's move on to our second key concept, and it builds right on top of the first one. It's called phones. So if a phoneme is the abstract idea of a sound in our brain, a phone is the actual physical sound that comes out of our mouth. It's the real-world version. A phone is the physical thing you actually produce and hear. You could literally record it. And here's the really important part. One single phoneme can have lots of different phones. It can be pronounced in slightly different ways. And you'll see the notation for this is square brackets, not slashes. You know what? Let's make this real with an example. We're going to take just one phoneme, the h sound, and we'll look at it in 3 different words. I want you to pay really close attention to what my mouth is doing when I say each of these. Okay, first up, the word he. Listen, he. See that? My mouth is pretty neutral, kind of wide, getting ready for that E sound that comes right after. The H is already being shaped by the next vowel. Okay, now listen to the word who. Who. Did you see what happened? My lips are already rounding up to make that oo sound, even as I'm making the h sound. That's a totally different physical action. It's a different phone. And last one, the word hat. Listen again. Hat. My mouth opens up really wide, getting ready for that big ah vowel. So that's a third, totally distinct physical sound, a third phoneme, all for the exact same phoneme.
So, here's the crucial point. We just made 3 completely different physical sounds, 3 different phones. But did the meaning of ah ever change? Nope. Our brain just hears all of them and thinks, ah, that's the H phoneme. The meaning stays the same. That's the big difference between a phone and a phoneme.
Okay, let's just break this down in a super simple chart to make sure it sticks. The phoneme, that's the abstract idea in your head. If you change it, you change the word's meaning, and we use slashes for those. The phone, that's the actual physical sound you make. Changing it does not change the meaning, and we use brackets for those. Pretty clear, right?
Okay, so now we've got our basic building blocks, phonemes and phones. But just knowing the individual sounds isn't enough to sound natural, right? It's like knowing the notes, but not the song. Now we need to learn how to put them all together to create the actual music of English.
And that music really comes down to 3 key things. First, there's stress, which words and syllables we emphasize. Then we have rhythm,
the beat and flow of the language. And finally, intonation, which is just the melody of your voice, whether it goes up or down.
So let's talk about stress. Someone learning English might say every word with the same force, like a robot. I can swim, right? But that's not how we talk. A native speaker focuses on the words that carry the real meaning. So that little function word can gets squished down to kun. It sounds more like I can swim. The important new info is swim, so that's the word that gets all the energy.
Next up is rhythm, and this is where English gets kind of weird. It's what we call a stress-timed language. That just means we try to keep the time between our stressed words pretty even, like a drum beat. And this creates a really interesting effect. A single-syllable word like chair takes up 1 beat, but a 2-syllable word like chairman also takes up about 1 beat. We just say the man part super fast to fit it in. Listen to the beat. Chair, chairman. It's the same amount of time. Wild, right?
And finally, we have intonation, which is just the melody, the music of your voice. For example, if I say, thank you, and my voice goes down at the end, thank you, it sounds like I really mean it. It's genuine.
But watch this. I'll use the exact same words, but just change the melody. Thank you. See how my voice goes up? Suddenly it sounds way more formal or maybe even dismissive. It's the kind of thing you hear 1,000 times a day without any real feeling behind it. The words are the same, but the music and the meaning are totally different.
So, there you have it. We've gone from the tiniest atoms of sound all the way up to the full orchestra of the English language. Let's just quickly wrap this up with the key takeaways you need to remember.
Okay, number 1, remember that English has way more sounds, those are the phonemes, than it has letters. Number 2, the big one, phonemes change a word's meaning. Phones are just little variations of a sound that don't change the meaning. And finally, number 3, if you want to sound natural, the secret is in the music, stress, rhythm, and intonation. That's the whole game right there. So, you now have the keys. You've cracked the code. From now on, when you listen to English, don't just listen to the words, listen for these patterns, for the music underneath. And that leaves me with just one question for you. Now that you know the code, do you think you'll ever listen to English the same way again?